At the beginning of the film, we observe a school security guard. The man hears a strange noise in the classroom and sees an injured girl there. The guard wants to call for help and goes out into the corridor, but Riley with red hands rushes at him and asks him to run. The action is transferred back a few weeks. Riley drives a car up to the school with his father. Chris, who has taken a job as an English teacher, says he's a little nervous but ready to go. The man also says he wants to get his life together and start over. The action moves to Kayla, who is photographing students for the graduation album. The girl's attention is drawn to the tall and stately Chris, who is talking to one of the students. Kayla is distracted by a local school beauty who demands to be photographed with her friends. Trisha also notices the new teacher and says he's her type. In class, the girl flirts with Chris, which angers Kayla. Chris decides to improve the atmosphere somewhat and asks the students to show him their favorite songs. The man likes that Kayla's favorite track is by the Beatles. Chris says that his job is to create a cozy atmosphere of knowledge, understanding, and development in the classroom. After the lesson, the man waves at Riley, which makes her uncomfortable. Fortunately, only Kayla notices this. At lunch, the two girls run into each other in one of the classrooms. Kayla notices the drawings of her new acquaintance and says that she is also fond of creativity, namely photography. The girl learns that Riley is the daughter of the new English teacher, but promises to keep quiet about it. Kayla also offers to study together sometime, and her new friend gladly agrees to this proposal. After class, the girl notices Chris getting into a car with his daughter. Kayla doesn't hold back and takes a few pictures of the man and smiles afterwards. Meanwhile, Riley arrives home. Her dad decides to cook lunch and asks his daughter about the first day of school. Riley tells him that it went pretty smoothly and she even met a girl. Kayla, meanwhile, comes home and sees her mother on the exercise machine, which seems strange to the girl since it's been standing still for months. Riley guesses that her mom is going on a date. While Jess is taking a shower, the girl looks at the dress and realizes that it hasn't even been unlabeled yet. The woman admits that she is actually going on a date with a guy. Jess doesn't think it's serious and says there won't be any details for now. Before going to bed, Kayla has a long fantasy about her new teacher and what they could do together. The next day, the girl goes to visit Riley. Kayla learns that her new friend's mother cheated on Chris for a long time. It was because of this that the man broke up with her and decided to move out. Riley feels bad about making such a drastic change and giving up her old life, friends, and relationships. While the girl retreats to the bathroom, Kayla wanders around the house and lies down on Chris's bed. The next day, during class, Trisha makes an attempt to seduce her new teacher. Chris rather gently puts her in her place, which brings a smile to Kayla's face. During lunch, Riley is approached by the queen of the school. Trisha suggests that the girl go shopping together. Riley agrees, which is grudgingly followed by her friend. When Trisha leaves, the girl immediately runs up to Riley. Kayla warns that the queen of the school just has a crush on Riley's dad. Also, last year, Trisha flirted with the history teacher and often saw him after class. The man was fired shortly thereafter. Kayla says she doesn't want the same thing to happen to Chris, because then he would leave and take his daughter with him. At home, Riley talks to her friend on the phone and learns that she is now 18, as she is a year behind in her junior year of high school. Kayla says that her friend needs to make the most of her coming of age. The girl also asks Riley about her father. The girl says that Chris has always had the high morality and won't fall for Trisha. In addition, the man is already dating a woman he recently met. Kayla begins to suspect that this is about her mother. When the doorbell rings, the girl swings it open and sees Chris in front of her with a bouquet. Jess asks to invite the man inside and is surprised to learn that he works as a high school teacher. The woman asks Kyla to take the bouquet and pour water in a vase for him. The girl goes to the kitchen, unhappily listening to her mother and Chris flirting with each other. Returning with the flowers, Kayla seems to accidentally douse the man. Chris says he doesn't have a spare shirt, and it's definitely not a good idea to go to a restaurant dressed like that. Kayla suggests having dinner at their house. Jess thinks it's a great idea and offers her daughter to keep them company. Things go smoothly at dinner, but at one moment, Chris pays too much attention to Jess. Kayla goes unhappily up to her room. By the fireplace, Jess is kissing with a man when the girl suddenly runs down the stairs screaming. Kayla lies that someone was looking at her window, but has already fled. The girl asks to stay downstairs with Jess if she won't bother them. As the woman leaves for the kitchen, Kayla has a confidential conversation with the man and feels that he is not shunning her. In the morning, the girl peeks into the bathroom and sees Chris there, embarrassingly covering himself with a towel. Kayla sees that her mom has cooked breakfast for 3 and realizes that she really likes Chris. During breakfast, the man offers to drive Kayla to school so she doesn't have to agonize over the car. Chris stops in front of his house and waits for Riley. The man talks to Kayla about her future speciality, photojournalism, and says that, unlike Jess, he sees her not as a child, but as a future adult. The dialogue is interrupted by an approaching Riley, who has spent the evening with Trisha and her friends. In the afternoon, the girl finds Kayla and wants to talk to her. However, the latter is angry and reminds her that Riley ignored her advice about Trisha seducing a teacher. Riley responds by saying that the queen of the school claimed the exact opposite. In her opinion, it was Kayla who was harassing the history teacher, and they were having an affair. After that, Riley tries to reconcile with the girl again, but the attempts prove fruitless. Kayla finds the queen of the school during break time and threatens her, advising her to stay away from Chris's daughter. At home, the girl decides to take drastic measures. Kayla takes her photos in a slightly lewd format. The next day at school, Riley tries again to make up with the girl. However, when Kayla opens a drawer, her photos spill out. The girl turns to Chris for comfort and support. At home, Kayla talks about the pictures with her mom and says that they were just for her. The girl also tells Jess that she got into the university she wanted to go to. The next day at school, Kayla makes up with Riley and admits that she was indeed with the history teacher, but then realized it was wrong and told the school authorities about it. After class, Chris offers to drive Kayla home. They have a good time together, and then the girl finds out that Chris is dating her mom and is coming over for dinner again. In the evening, the man goes to Jess's bathroom. At that moment, Kayla notices interesting messages from Trisha on his phone. The girl shows the phone to Jess, and she chases her lover away, believing him to be a child molester. Chris sits sadly in his car when Kayla suddenly joins him. The girl says that for the past 18 years, Chris has been in the role of husband or father, and it's as if he's forgotten that he's a man. Kayla settles down on the teacher, kisses him, and then gets out of the car with a smile. Back in her room, the girl breaks the phone, from which she has been sending messages on Trisha's behalf. The next day, Trisha is taken right out of her literature class. After class, Kayla talks to the man again and kisses him lightly. Jess, meanwhile, has a drink to dull the pain of the breakup. Kayla tries to be supportive of the woman and then heads off to her friend's 18th birthday party. After quickly congratulating Riley, the girl enters the house and goes up to Chris's bedroom. Kayla flirts with the man again, and the man agrees to be alone with her. Riley suddenly enters the room. The girl is shocked that her father was with her friend. Riley runs away from home and spends the night at a friend's house. Kayla tries to hold the man in the bedroom, but he says his daughter is more important to him than a ridiculous affair. The next day, Riley reports what she saw to Jess. After class, the woman punches Chris in the face and then takes her daughter away. Jess tries to reason with Kayla, but she grudgingly reminds her that she is already 18 years old, and she is free to live as she wishes. Besides, the girl is sure that Chris is in love with her. The man, meanwhile, finally talks to Riley. Chris says that he was very depressed, but now he has realized everything and will never do it again. Kayla, meanwhile, has a cunning plan brewing. She calls Trisha to a meeting and then breaks her finger, pretending that her rival did it to her. Chris helps Kayla and visits her at the hospital with Riley. The man tells Kayla that nothing happened between them and will never happen again. Chris is even ready to quit his job just so the girl will leave him and Riley alone. Kayla loses her temper and runs away from the hospital. In the school corridor, the girl wounds Riley with a scalpel, saying that in Chris's life there is a place for only one of them. Afterwards, Kayla goes to the man's office and threatens him with a weapon. The girl settles on Chris and says she had a worse partner last year and had to get rid of him. Kayla is actively flirting with the man and promises to give him a new daughter, better than Riley. Chris brushes Kayla off and asks where Riley is now. The girl pushes the teacher hard and hits his head, rendering him unconscious. A security guard reacts to the noise. Kayla pretends to be hurt and follows the man. Riley tries to warn the guard, but he loses his life. Kayla continues to pursue the girl and threaten her. However, Riley manages to overpower her rival and call the police. The injured girls are taken away in 2 different ambulances. Time passes. Riley goes to college and her father takes a job at a new school. Chris walks the girl to her first day of school, unaware that a strange hooded shadow is following them. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.